What would a modern day Lamborghini LM002 look like if it were rebuilt today using the Revuelto's design language on top of a modern VW Group chassis? Let me show you my vision. And of course, the VW Group is no stranger to using their platforms on different car manufacturers within their range. I thought about using the Terra at first because, of course, the LM002 it's got a bed in the back, but the Terra is more of a standard truck. And the LM002 has a really short bed. So the proportions actually line up really well with the other Scout, the Scout SUV, the Traveler. And the first thing we need to do here in Photoshop is we're going to just chop the back of this thing off. And I actually want to reverse this colored section so that it creates this more Lamborghini shape, these angles, these triangles. And by doing that, we're going to hopefully create a modern back end silhouette that would lend itself well to this design. So jumping right in, we've already separated the vehicle using the standard way to do this. So subject select on the background, get the vehicle removed and replaced, and then kind of fix the background with AI. And then I'm just going to cut this out using some standard shapes with my path tool and clean up this back glass because we're going to remove that. I just want that colored body panel. And then you'll see here, I'm going to just go in and use my artistic license to get everything to line up. So I'm going to fix the roof line. I'm going to change the colors. I always wonder if, how well AI could actually do something this specific. Maybe I'll do a video like that in the future. So subscribe if you may want to see that. But it's always interesting because as an artist, you can come in and really just hone in on the details, do things exactly the way you want. I have yet to get AI to do things like this, where like literally I just chop the back roll cage off of the LM002, and then I can swap it right onto the LM003. Sometimes stuff like that works in AI, not all the time. But with that being said, I think that back end actually represents like an LM003 version pretty well. So let's keep moving forward. I'm going to move down the side of the vehicle, and we're going to get to the front end. But the LM002 has these side vents that arguably on the LM002, they've got to vent that massive engine in front. And the Scout Traveler, I believe, is an electric car. So you wouldn't need vents. But for the sake of continuity and the design, I would like to add vents that mimic that side vent on the LM002. So I'm going to do this my standard way, block out a general shape, and then I'm going to just build up the details using actually the plastics on the Scout that are already there, and make this all look cohesive, make it look like it fits on this vehicle. And the technique you'll see here, I've actually clipped down these elements of the details to that shape. But now I realize I need to add some light, some shadow. And so I've unclipped that, grouped it, and then added a layer mask that is the exact size of the shape. And now I can actually dial in those light and shadows on that vent. So now let's jump to the front end. And I'm going to yank it straight off the Revuelto. And then I'm going to use my my object selection tool and kind of free transform this and move things around as I see fit to kind of make this work. And what you'll see here is that it does take a little bit of work. And again, I wonder if AI could maybe do this faster, but I don't know if AI would be as precise. And so I'm going through just kind of a checklist of things to make this line up. So colors, hues, the shadows, the shapes that are connecting the front end fascia to the hood, and making all of that work together. And I'm just kind of using some artistic license here to graft the front end of the Revuelto onto this Scout Traveler, but to really give it this Lamborghini look. And, when I think about the fact that, would Lamborghini actually do this in real life? Maybe. This is how we got the Lamborghini Urus. it's essentially what a facelifted Q8. I mean, correct me in the comments. I don't follow the US as closely, and full disclosure, I don't have the finances to own a Lamborghini, so I don't pay a lot of attention to that brand, other than the fact that it's just Lamborghini's a really cool car company. But I think for this front fascia here, um, I I could see Lamborghini doing something like this if it benefited them financially, and um, having an actual SUV, because let's face it, the nobody's really taking a Urus off road, but having something that's like the LM002, super cool. I think I got the front end kind of dialed in. Obviously, I turned off those layers, but I want to add some more Lamborghini elements to this. And that's what I see when I look at what Lamborghini does: is these sharp angles, these huge fenders, these bulging lines. And I think it works well here, especially when you look at the LM002 design, and it's a wild design. And so I could see this thing being more wide body, especially in the rear. Um, Now, of course, with that being said, we'll have to line up these wheels a little bit better. But I also think there's something else that's missing here, is this plastic trim around the fenders. I don't always go for plastic trim, but it is kind of funny looking if you have plastic trim on the front fender and not on the rear fender. So I'm just going to take the trim from the front. We're going to layer this up and get it to where the body line still makes sense, but just make this kind of look a little bit more rugged back there in the back. And now with that fender extended out, the rear wheel just kind of looks funny tucked in there. Does not look right. So let's get that wheel extended out. And great way to do this in Photoshop is literally just copy that front fascia of the wheel, the tire, a little bit of the ground here in this case with the grass. It's going to be pretty simple to duplicate that and make it look right. And then we'll get some of the tread and a little bit more of that grass. Copy, paste, and then we literally can just slide this out. So I'm going to move this on top so that you can actually see it underneath the fender, but on top of the old file. And then we'll move it out so that it actually fits. And I think it fits with the Lamborghini ethos that the rear wheels are nice and wide and chunky anyway. So add a little bit more detail and pop this right next to the old 002. And I would say that's pretty sick, dude. Amazing what you can do in Photoshop, and a little bit of just creativity. So God bless. See you in the next video.